fantasy football. Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island. Johnny Ballgame is already rocking out.
What's up?
Come on, John.
Dude.
Get funky. Welcome to the island, folks, where we help you with your fantasy football team and league. And most importantly, we don't take ourselves too seriously. So we're going to come with a kind of a comedic approach. We hope you enjoy the show. We have 25 years experience. All three of us, 25 plus years experience. And we're the inventors of PPR. So you're welcome.
Yes,
we invented it. We invented it.
We did. And if you appreciate playing PPR, then you need to hit that like button. You need to subscribe, comment, tell us thank you. Do whatever you got to do to help the algorithm.
Yeah.
So we get a video.
You know what would be nice? A nice thank you. That'd be nice. How about that? Maybe in the comments you just say, thank you, inventors of the PPR.
Yes, that would be nice.
Welcome. Yeah.
That would be super nice. All right. Let me introduce you to my boy. You know him as Johnny Ballgame.
Where's he at?
I'm right here.
Oh,
I'm right here. I'm right here, Tony. What's up? Reaper, good to see you. Sir Poops-a-Lot. Gonna be a fun show tonight. I'm in a spicy mood. Spicy.
I can tell.
Yes,
you can hit up John on Twitter at JohnIsbell85. So hit him up.
Indeed.
Talk shit. Do what you got to do.
Hit him up style. You know what I'm saying? Just go back, hit him up style. All right, let's do this.
And down below is Tony Brooks. You know him as Sir Poops-a-Lot.
You do. You do know him
Hi.
as that.
What's up? Good to see you guys. Good to see you.
How you doing, Tony? Everything good?
Yeah. Getting old, sluggish, lazy. But good.
Happens.
Doing good.
Getting old, sluggish, lazy, but
Yeah.
good.
Good. Yeah, I feel good.
That's a good thing.
So normal, actually. Yeah.
Hit up Tony at Poop Newton on Twitter. I am the Fantasy Reaper, Chuck Bishop. Welcome to the show. You can hit me up at the Fantasy Reaper on Twitter. Pretty simple there, folks. All right.
Got it.
Fantasy Sports Island is now on Rumble and YouTube. Search for Fantasy Sports Island, and you should find our shows pretty easily.
We're hitting the
Don't
big
forget to
time. We're hitting the big time. We're hitting the big time. We used to be just YouTube. We're Rumble now.
We're Rumble. Also, check your podcasts because we're on Apple Podcasts and on your podcast providers as well. So search for Fantasy Sports Island.
You got that right.
Damn right. Damn right. All right, John, tonight we're going to go into the news like we always do. We're going to talk about the remaining fantasy relevant football players that are still free agents. We're going to check on my top 10 fantasy prospects coming into the draft at the running back position. And I want to hear you guys' takes on all 10 of them. So we're going to get to that. And finally, we will discuss our fantasy football breakout candidates for this year's draft. So you're going to want to stick around till the end because that's going to be our best segment. John, you always love doing those type of segments.
I do.
Excited?
I am. I'm really excited, actually. I'm already pumped up for football season as if it was getting ready to start, like, next week. Like, we haven't even had the draft yet. We haven't had any. But I'm like, okay, let's go. Last season's over. It's done with. I took my 2 weeks to process everything. Kind of took off for a little bit. Now I'm ready. Let's go.
I feel the
Let's
same.
go.
Absolutely.
Fear the beard.
All right, if you're ready, you're going to have a pina colada, sit back, shut up, and enjoy the show for the next hour. All right,
Done.
Sound good? You don't even have to say a word because we got it. We're going to take it all the way here.
I'm getting cold in the rain.
By the way, Tony, do you like pina coladas? Because
No.
you're wearing that shirt. It sure looks like you do.
I'm not gonna lie, Tony looks like an IT tech in like 1983 right now. Like the picture, the whole thing.
I do sort of, don't I? I could also use a beef sandwich about right now.
Yeah, you could. You might not want to with that ticker.
Yeah,
What?
I know. Anyway,
We've been talking smack at Tony like 30 minutes before the show started, so he's probably just about done with us. So
He's tired.
let's move
He's
on,
done.
John.
Yeah, let's
Let's
talk
go
about
on
football.
quick. All right, let's talk the news and notes for the week. Since we last talked to you guys, Mecole Hardman, Mecole, football is hard, man, has agreed to a one-year deal with the Jets worth up to $6.5 million. So, Tony, I'm going to start with you. Is this fantasy relevant, him going to the Jets? What do we think? Do we draft him?
who's going to be throwing the ball to him, number one? And, yeah, I mean, there might be some value there. I don't love it. I don't know why they grabbed him. I would have stuck with, who was it, Elijah Moore? Is that who left?
Elijah, yeah, I would have too.
I love that kid. So, okay, yeah, I mean, he's a speedster. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers goes there, they'll have some chemistry. But, yeah, it's all right.
Maybe if Aaron Rodgers goes there, because at this point, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, John. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Jets, I think he's going to retire. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it's a bad day for sure if that happens. I'm kind of with Tony. I would have stuck with Elijah Moore, but I will say this. I got a few good weeks out of Mecole. I'm sorry, excuse me, out of Mecole.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's your first Ricola reference this year. I actually had some good weeks out of him, and if he hadn't got injured, I feel like he would have done pretty well. I mean, it can't hurt that Aaron Rodgers is throwing to him. Aaron Rodgers still has a pretty good deep ball. But, no, I mean, he's really the second, maybe third receiving option on there. Once Breece Hall comes back, he's kind of the third option on that team. So,
does he need that deep ball action, Tony?
Yeah, he does. Who doesn't? Definitely a deep ball.
So now that we've already mentioned it, the Jets traded Elijah Moore and a third-round pick to the Browns for a second-round pick. So they essentially swapped a second and third for Elijah Moore. I feel like the Browns got the great end of this.
That was a steal. That was a steal.
Yeah.
It was.
Now, saying all that, now that we know Elijah Moore's on Cleveland, how do we think he fits with Deshaun Watson?
Which Deshaun Watson are we getting?
Yeah.
Right. So if we're getting Deshaun Watson from 3 years ago, Cleveland Browns are going to be a team. They've got a great running back, two great running backs, actually. They've got Amari Cooper on one side now, Elijah Moore on the other side. They've got some talented tight ends and Njoku and what's his face. I'm kind of thinking Watson might be a sneaky little candidate to stash away if you could get over that he's Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. You can get past that part.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Tight end Foster Moreau. We thought he was going to be the starting tight end for the Raiders, but unfortunately he has been diagnosed with cancer, and he's stepping away from the game probably for this season to deal with that. We're wishing him a speedy recovery. There's not much more to say than get well soon, brother.
Yeah. Honestly, get well.
But I did want to mention that. And now let's talk about the ongoing saga of Lamar Jackson, because it was reported a couple days ago. Actually, it was reported while John Harbaugh was speaking to the media. And it was reported that he had actually requested a trade back on March 2nd to the Ravens, which doesn't really change much because we all know he's on the franchise tag, but it's the one where teams can negotiate a deal with him anyways. But now at least you know for sure he wants out. He wants out, and now that brings his price tag down. They have a little bit of leverage if you're trying to trade for Lamar Jackson. So John, Tony, tell me what you guys think. What are your thoughts? What's going to happen? Is Lamar going to get traded?
I think so. I think he's going to end up getting traded because I don't think anybody wants a quarterback who's not going to play for them. I think Lamar gave up on them last year to save himself because he didn't have the long-term contract. I think they saw it, and I think they're seeing him in a different light. I mean, John Harbaugh's saying all the smart things. He's saying all the right things. They can get a shit ton of value for him, and it's a team that needs some help in some places. So I would not be surprised if they don't either trade for a quarterback or trade for draft picks and try to go get a quarterback in the draft.
Tony, what's your take? Do you think First of all, if he does get traded, do you have any thoughts of where you want him to go?
I was saying earlier, I'd like to see him go to Tennessee. I think he'd be excellent over there. And I still like the coach. I still like a lot of the players. They got some great young wide receivers. I mean, there's several teams he could go to that would be great. But yeah, he's not going to stick around now with that morale. You know there's going to be a lot of players. There's some people that are backing him. Some players are going to be like, come on, man. They're not going to be happy, and I don't think he's going to be 100%. So, yeah, I mean, he might be Falcons. They already announced their starter, but he could go to the Falcons.
Easily.
There's 3 or 4 teams that could definitely use Patriots, maybe.
You think Houston could use a quarterback?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why Houston and the Colts aren't negotiating.
Well, the Colts have already said Gardner Minshew's their starter, so why would they need him?
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm just going to say it. I'm not sure why there isn't 15 teams on the phone right now trying to negotiate a deal for Lamar Jackson. Because honestly, if you try to sign him and then wait 5 days for them to match or not match, and then you have to give up 2 first-rounders, I don't think the Ravens are going to get 2 first-rounders. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to have to negotiate a trade because Lamar Jackson is eventually just going to say, I'm not going to sign that franchise tag. I'm going to sit out the season. I think that's an option.
I think so too.
He's going to force a trade.
So there is injuries. Again, like
I mean, if you're
1 out of 12 games the past 3 Decembers, that is a little bit threatening. If you're going to put up $100 million, $200 million or whatever, he wants 250 or whatever it is, there's a little bit of a risk there. And I think some teams are like, ouch, I don't know. But he's still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in all the NFL. Take that
The man
chance.
is 26 years old, okay? He won an MVP. I'm not sure why the Jets are fucking around trying to get Aaron Rodgers when they could just call up the freaking Ravens and offer up, their picks. They have extra picks. They have talent there that they can trade. Why wouldn't they be trying to get Lamar Jackson? Because honestly, you're going to get 1 good year out of Rodgers, maybe. But Lamar Jackson, you could get 5 to 10 more years. John?
I don't know that they trust Lamar's arm enough. They've already got great runners. They've got great receivers they want to be able to get. I just don't know if they – and Robert Saleh seems like a guy that might not put up with the nonsense of a Lamar. That might be why. But he's getting Rodgers, right?
He's going to put up with the nonsense of the Prince of Darkness?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
But not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know that he fits with their offense with what Robert Saleh wants to do.
I think the best fit, honestly, is probably the Colts, and I think they're the most interested in making this deal work. But I would like to see him go to the Patriots.
I think Atlanta and Houston make an awful lot of sense, though. Desmond Ritter's he was okay as a rookie, but he wasn't good. Nobody went, there's the answer for Atlanta. They got their quarterback for the next 10 years. They're kind of like, maybe it'll be okay. I'm not sure. Houston, nobody thinks they've got their quarterback on the roster right now. So if I were one of those 2 guys, I'd be like, what do you want? What do you want? Okay. Just giving them all the money that they need.
I mean, honestly, for Houston, it comes down to, do we want Bryce Young and what he could be, or do we want the guaranteed, we already know who he is, Lamar Jackson? I don't know. That's something to think about. And you don't have to give up any capital to go and draft your guy that you want in the draft. So I get what the holdup is, but honestly, a team like the Jets, they're in win now mode. They are built to win.
Yeah.
If they get Lamar Jackson, they are the Super Bowl contender right away. So I'm not sure why they're not thinking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tight end.
You know what would be interesting for me, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking about this. Pittsburgh Steelers. If they aren't sold on Kenny Pickett being their quarterback of the future, can you imagine Pittsburgh getting Lamar Jackson and just giving a big FU to the AFC Central? Or AFC North, rather.
Yeah,
just
that's the problem. The Ravens would never trade him to
Ravens are like, no, that's okay, thanks. We're good. Yeah. Although we wouldn't have to play him in December, so maybe we will give him to you.
True. All right. This is the Bengals signing a tight end, Irv Smith. Recent terms on a 1-year deal. And I want to get your take, Tony, because you're a Bengals fan. Personally, I love this deal, but what do you think?
Yeah, I love it too. The kid's awesome. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him because of injuries, but we have seen what he can do. And I think that's a good combination in Cincinnati. That's a good combination. I'd rather have him than Hurst. I love Hayden Hurst. He was fantastic. But Irv Smith stays healthy. Another strong weapon. I did not
24
see
years
that
old.
coming.
24 years old on a prove-it deal. They're not spending a lot of money on a tight end, keeping that salary cap, so they can sign other guys next year that are coming up here. So it makes a lot of sense. And if he happens to, play really well, they can sign him long term. So I really like this deal, John.
I'm the same way. I actually, when you said it to me, because you broke it to me before I saw it in the news, I was like, oh, I like that. That's kind of nice. Like, I was a little upset that they lost Hayden Hurst because I was like, I actually thought he had a pretty good year. Was really clutch moments. So if Irv Smith can stay healthy, I think he can be that same kind of tight end. So,
but he's faster. He's a move tight end. I mean, he's got a lot of speed. So it kind of reminds me of like an Evan Ingram type. So if they can make that work, that could be really dangerous. I like that. And that
a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of mouths to feed in Cincinnati.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing if you like the quarterback.
Okay. I just want to go back to Lamar real quick because I'm pretty sure I know why he requested a trade, because the Ravens signed wide receiver Nelson Aguilar to a 1-year deal. And he was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out.
I'm good, thanks. Yeah. This was the last straw. I now know you don't care about me. I'm out.
Why do the Ravens continually ignore basically the wide receiver position?
Because they don't have a quarterback who can throw right now. Their backup quarterback can't throw. So, I mean, why pay all this money to a position we're not going to use? Are
you talking about backup Pro Bowl quarterback Huntley? Is that who you're talking about? Who can't throw? He was in the Pro Bowl, John. Do you believe that?
That's my face to Huntley.
Yeah. All right. On a more serious note here, let's talk about what the Carolina Panthers did. So we already know they got Thielen on one side. They went out and signed DJ Chark to a 1-year deal, prove-it deal, to play on the other side. Do we like this fit?
I love this fit. I thought Chark showed a little bit of why we were excited about Chark a couple of years ago last year. I mean, granted, there was a lot of mouths to feed or whatever. Chark and Thielen actually make me for a year, I want to see it. I kind of feel like it's going to be kind of a good thing. I like Chark there.
Okay. Tony, you like this move?
Yeah, he's highly capable. He's still got a lot of talent. So, yeah, I think it's good for them, for sure.
And, Stroud's going to have some decent weaponry now. I mean,
I like that we're already calling Stroud. I like that we're calling it already because I believe it too.
Stroud. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Reich's going to really like his size, throwing ability, mobility. My God, you couldn't have a better pro day and combine than Stroud did. Like, it was just an unbelievable performance. So I think Stroud's your guy.
And one more to the list of who gives a shit. New York Giants signed wide receiver Jamison Crowder to a 1-year deal, another prove-it deal. I mean, this guy can't stay healthy. He's a journeyman now. So, but he is a good slot receiver, John, when he's healthy. Does this help the Giants, or did they just go out and sign another mediocre talent at wide receiver?
I feel like they just replaced their old receivers from last year with the old receiver from this year. It's the same for me. I mean, he might give them 2 good games this year if he can stay healthy for those 2. The rest of them, no, this was a nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we were talking about this last week. We still don't know where all the dust is going to settle for some of these running backs and wide receiver cores because there are certain free agents that are still out there lurking. And I just wanted to go over this list really quick. These are guys that I think could shake up backfields or wide receiver depth. Odell Beckham Jr. is still available.
Sure.
A lot of teams looking at him. Bills are still in on him. The Rams are not out on him completely. There's a few other teams that, could sneak in there and grab him. Kareem Hunt is still a free agent. I don't know if you knew that, John.
I did know that when I was talking about them earlier. I did not know Kareem Hunt was a free agent.
He is still a free agent,
That's
and we're not
crazy,
sure where
actually.
he's going to land. But Kareem Hunt's still he's still pretty young, talented guy. I don't understand why teams aren't kind of trying to get him.
I don't either. I really don't. I have no idea.
So, because I'm dumb, who's number 2 in Cleveland now? Because Dearness is gone too, right?
Yeah, Dearness went to camp with another team. And, so it's, I'm trying to remember the name. Ford, I believe, is the backup running back there. And he should get a few carries, but I'm gonna have to look more into him as far as what kind of talent he is because I don't know a lot about him. We didn't see him last year.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott's still out there on the waiver
Right.
wire. He has his wish list of teams he wants to play for. We talked about this last week, but none of those teams really care what his wish list is. It's more about, will you come in for a minimum deal or close to a minimum deal and play on a 1-year prove it deal? Because if you will, then sure, we'll take you. But I just don't see like the Bengals spending more than a couple million to see what Ezekiel's got left in the tank, right?
Yeah.
And who else is going to? Too? I think he's going to be stuck with, like you said, like a 1 year for like $4 or $5 million tops.
Tops, yeah.
Tops.
And even that's generous. I mean, I think you're signing Zeke to be your like spell guy. Like come in and spell your starter because I don't think he demands to be a starter anymore. He doesn't. Right, John? I mean, he's not a starter, right?
Now, who I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised Kareem Hunt's still out there, and that a team like the Rams aren't showing some interest. You know what I mean? Like they don't really have great guys there. They got Cam, they got that other dude. I can't remember his name. But Ezekiel, I don't know who's clamoring for a guy with that many miles on him. That's going to be a little bit expensive. That you're just like you said, you're bringing him down as kind of your goal line and short yardage back at this point.
And that's where he serves his best. I mean, that's where he's best put, like at the goal line and in short yardage. He's very good. I'll give him that. But his days of averaging over 4 yards a carry and being the lead guy, those are over.
Yeah.
And then we have two receivers that are lurking. I know, John, you kind of like this guy, but he's getting up there. Jarvis Landry, he's still out there. And we have DeAndre Carter, who was with the Chargers, who flashed last year before he got hurt. So I'm kind of interested to see where these guys go. DeAndre Carter's a sneaky good slot receiver, John.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know where he's going to go, but someone will pick him up. Jarvis may be a wait till there's some injuries during the year, or he might even be waiting to see where Odell's going to go. He might want to join him again somewhere. So I don't think we'll know about Jarvis for a bit, but I think Carter will get picked up maybe after the draft, after people see what they've got, and then they'll figure out if they've got some positions to fill.
All right. On to our first segment of the show. It's going to be our top 10 prospect rankings for running backs. And this is my list. These are my top 10 guys coming into the draft. I'm most interested in seeing where they land and in the particular order that I think how good they are, basically. So, John, I want to talk about number 10. I'm going to go backwards. Number 10 is Rashawn Johnson from Texas, okay? He was Bijan Robinson's backup, but he's freaking good, John. He is a beast, 6'2", 222. He's a power back. He'd be a number one running back on a lot of teams in college. He just unfortunately played behind Bijan. But he had the highest broken tackle rate in all of college football last year in his limited carries. So what do we think about him?
I like him a lot. I think somebody's going to go 10th ranked running back, but he may end up being like second or third ranked yards by the time all this list is done out of this class. I think Bijan's that much ahead of him that I do think he should be ranked above him. But the only thing Rashawn Johnson, the only reason he's not ranked higher is because he played behind Bijan. That's it. He's got speed. He's got power. He's a really good running back. And in the small time that he played, he showed flashes. So I think people are excited more about his potential. Feels a little bit like the Alabama running backs of a couple of years ago where they all were really good. And you could draft any one of the top starting three, and they were all good. So, I like him a lot.
Okay. Yeah. The only problem with him is he probably is not a pass catcher, so he'd be like a first and second down back kind of guy. Probably not a third down.
Could be a power guy. Yeah. But again, we don't know because he didn't really get a chance to play that role. So
that's true. All right, Tony, I want to talk about Keaton Mitchell. He's a junior. Out of, I can't read my notes.
East Carolina.
Yeah, East Carolina, sorry.
Yeah.
He's kind of a player that likes to run in space. He's very fast. No, so if you get him into space, he's very, very hard to tackle. Okay, but you have to get him into space because he's kind of fragile. He's smaller guy. So what do we think about him, Tony?
He's quite small. He doesn't have a lot of weight on him either.
Right.
Like he's kind of like a Darren Sproles or something. So you use him in the right situations, and he does, break out. Yeah, he's going to be hard to catch. But I worry about guys like that. If you don't have a killer offensive line and the right options or opportunities for him, I don't know if he's going to make a huge difference. But I don't know. He puts on another 20, 30 pounds maybe, and they work with the right coach, then maybe he'd be a little more valuable. But I don't really love the guy that much. I think he's kind of tiny.
I'll give him this. He's kind of Darren Sproles-esque as far as body type. Very small but fast. Maybe Tariq Cohen kind of guy. So he had 179 carries last year, and 29 of them went for 15 or more yards, John. So say what you want.
Yeah, he's got burst. He's got speed. He's got wiggle on the outside. He's going to be a tremendous third down back, pass catching back. And like Poop said, in the right system, that guy, Darren Sproles was super productive for a couple of years. So I think if he had a Darren Sproles-like career, he'd feel pretty good about it.
All right, let's move on to my number 8 running back prospect, and that is Kendre Miller out of TCU. 6 foot 220, kind of an all-purpose back, John. Probably going to be picked in late second day, maybe third round, something like that, right? He had 1,342 yards on 216 carries, which equates to 6.2 yards per carry, and he had 17 touchdowns. So he's good, John.
He doesn't go down.
He doesn't go down.
That's the thing about that guy. Like, he breaks more tackles, I think, than most people on this list. There's probably maybe 3 or 4 people who are better than him at breaking tackles, but I like him. I liked him. I like him when I saw him during the season, during the playoffs. I think this guy's a player. He's gonna make an impact at the next level.
That's a very good call, John, because he broke 109 tackles on 359 carries. So that equated to 3.8 yards after contact that he averaged. So after someone hit him, he still got almost 4 yards a carry.
Right. I mean, that means you're basically not stopping him at the line. He's going to get you 4 yards in a cloud of dust every time, and then he had a little burst when you get him in some space. So.
And he does catch the ball a little bit too. So like I said, he's an all-purpose back. So I really like him. All right. Tony, I like Devon A-Chain. I call him the A-Train. Okay. He's a junior from Texas A&M. He's got pure speed. He is the A-Train for sure. He's probably also going to go in third, fourth round of the draft. He runs 100 meters in 10.14 seconds, which is extremely fast, guys. if you're not wanting to follow the 100 meters, that's fast.
Track star speed.
Yes. He averaged also 3.9 yards after contact. So he's sneaky, hard to tackle, John.
Yeah. He's only 185 pounds. They'll put some more weight on him when he gets to the NFL. If he can retain his speed when they bulk him up a little bit, I think this guy's a sneaky little pick right here. I think, it kind of reminds me last year we were all excited about, I just said his name, from the Jets.
Breece Hall?
Yeah, Breece Hall. Kind of in that same, speed, you didn't hear a ton about him in college because if you don't follow the Texas A&M team, you don't know that much about him, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of that coming out. Like I'm excited to see him in the right offense. That guy's going to be just pure speed.
Yeah. I don't know if he's great at cutbacks and shifting a little bit. They were talking about that on ESPN, but he is fast and he keeps up the speed, like you were saying. So he hits 50-yard line and he's picking up speed. So he's going to be fun to watch.
All right. This next guy, number 6 on my list, they call him the jump cut king because he makes that one jump cut once he gets to the line of scrimmage and he's gone. And that is Tank Bigsby out of Auburn, a junior, 6 feet 213, it looks like, which is pretty good size for a running back.
Yeah.
His ability to plant the 1 foot to the ground and then immediately fire away in the opposite direction is elite. and kind of like LaShawn McCoy used to be, like that really quick juke. He's got that in his game. He has broken a lot of tackles, 178 attempts, 60 broken tackles, which is a lot, 976 yards and 10 touchdowns. So I don't know how much he'll play in the passing game, though. He's not really a pass catcher. What do we think about Tank Bigsby, guys?
I mean, I like him.
Strong dude.
Can you imagine him in a San Francisco 49er uniform?
With McCaffrey?
Yeah, like just kind of spelling him and giving him that, and then when McCaffrey goes on, like he's got that one cut. That's a perfect running back for that system. So I think of him in that kind of system.
By the way, pop quiz. Tony, John, let me know if you know this answer. Who led the NFL last year in broken tackles?
Was it the guy from the Raiders?
No, it was not. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to guess who it is because most people don't picture him being a guy that breaks tackles. They picture him more of as speed and a pass catcher. And that is Christian McCaffrey. Led the NFL in broken tackles last year. You believe that?
It's pretty impressive.
That's how good he is.
Well, then bring in Bigsby then. Bring in Bigsby.
Yeah, man.
That would
It'd be a tough
imagine that tandem. He would be a good tandem. Definitely. He would be a good guy to just
he could keep Christian McCaffrey healthy and get him down there towards the goal line and let Christian McCaffrey catch the touchdowns out of the backfield. I really like him in that kind of an offense.
Just selfishly, I don't want to see that, though, because I want McCaffrey to be getting the lion's share.
I know.
I love McCaffrey.
I know. I love McCaffrey, too. But, again, he gets injured. So
you love him so much that you call him McCafferty instead of McCaffrey.
Whatever. I like John McCafferty and the Beaver Brown Band from the old school. So that's why I think of it, you know.
Yeah.
You're not old,
fan.
John.
Big fan. Big fan. Eddie and the Cruisers. No? I mean, like, all right, fine, whatever.
Stop it.
Just shut
Okay.
up.
While John is dating himself, let's move on to number 5. Sean Tucker from Syracuse, a junior, 5'10", 210, 5'10", 210 pounds.
It's a big dude.
North-south runner. He's a straight line runner.
It's a grinder.
He's a day 2 pick. He's a grinder, yeah. You're not going to find anybody more shredded than this dude, and he's tough to tackle, and he's got some speed, but he's a straight line runner. He's not going to juke you or nothing like that.
He's got speed when he gets to build up that speed, right? Like it's not a burst out of the line, but when he gets in the open field and he gets all that weight behind him and that power, he's going to get going. So
kind of
fumbles a little bit. He's got some fumble history there.
He's got some fumble history, and he's definitely not a pass catcher. As a matter of fact, he's dropped 10 of his 78 catchable passes in his career, which is not good.
It's not
a good rate. Also, he does remind me a little bit of Derrick Henry, though.
Me too.
The power-speed combination.
Yeah.
So, not saying he's Derrick Henry, folks. I'm not saying that.
But Derrick Henry wasn't Derrick Henry coming out of college either.
Exactly. You never know what these guys could turn into.
No.
All right. My number 4 is a guy that
Speaking
I
of
could
Alabama.
put number 2, honestly. I could put him 2 because I like this guy's overall combination of just elite quickness and speed and jukiness. That is Jared Gibbs out of Alabama. Or excuse me, I said his name wrong. I'm hyping this guy up and I said his freaking name wrong.
I love him so much. It's Bob Gibbs.
Exactly. Jamar Gibbs. Sorry, Jamar. I apologize. Jamar Gibbs out of Alabama, junior. What is he? 6'1", 200 pounds, lightning rod speed, kind of built like Aaron Jones or maybe a little bit like Dalvin Cook.
It's Alvin Kamara. It's Alvin Kamara reborn.
Boom, Johnny, you nailed it. You stole my thunder. He looks like Alvin Kamara.
Sorry. Yes. The guy's, this guy's going to be a star in the NFL.
I agree, man.
So weird because usually Alabama backs don't do well.
Yeah, right. Also, a lot of Alabama backs come out of timeshares, and this is another example of that. That doesn't mean they can't be a good running back on their own in the NFL. Derrick Henry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tony, are you as excited about Gibbs as we are?
Yeah, hell yeah, I am. Absolutely. I don't have anything to say more than what you guys said.
Okay.
He's going to be a terror on the field.
All right, here's a guy that I got to watch a lot because, I'm out in L.A., and UCLA is one of my favorite teams to watch, and that is Zach Charbonnet. Sounds like a wine.
Does.
But He's a bell cow, folks. He's a bell cow. Also, probably an early second day pick in the draft. There's nothing really he does elite, but there's also nothing he can't do. He's kind of a do-it-all. He can break tackles. He can juke you. He can stiff arm you. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. John, what's your take on Charbonnet?
So I will say this: I didn't watch a lot of UCLA because I don't watch UCLA, but the film that I've watched, he looks pretty good. I'm not as high on him. Like, to me, if I was making this list, I probably would have him 8th or 9th. He feels a little bit to me like all the other backs that come out of the Pac-10 that everybody thinks is going to be great and then just is kind of meh. So I'm okay with him. I think he can do a lot of everything. I don't think he's great at anything. I think he can just do a lot of really good things. And you need those running backs in the NFL. I don't know that he's going to be a fantasy star, and I don't think he's going to be a star at all. But having said that, his film looks pretty good.
I'm going to put it to you this way. The reason why I like him for fantasy purposes is my 3rd overall prospect is because he kind of reminds me of Najee Harris. Not great at anything in particular, but he's going to get the volume and he's capable of being a 3-down back, which is very valuable in fantasy football. So
okay.
Kind of what I see.
Yeah, he could catch the ball. So, I mean, that's clearly.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, they're comparing him to like A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon might be a little bit more versatile, but today I was watching some stuff and there were two guys were comparing him to A.J. Dillon, and I don't know if I agree with that, but they may know something we don't know. Yeah. But he sounds like you're right, like a Najee, where just give him the ball. He'll get it done, but you got to give him a lot of
I mean, honestly, the A.J. Dillon comparison doesn't excite me that much.
No, so, that's not a good comparison.
Like that doesn't make me go, oh, then I want him. I mean,
right. Yeah. That sounds more like a 3rd down back.
A.J. Dillon is exactly the kind of back I was describing. The guy that just comes in and he's pretty good and spells and does a good job and he's good. He's good.
But he's very limited in what he can do. And that's why I don't think he's like A.J. Dillon, more like Najee.
Yeah. I can say a little more Najee than Dillon.
All right. So I was telling you that I could have put Gibbs 2nd because he's so explosive. Reminds me of Kamara. But this guy also is explosive and is fun to watch. And that's why I left him at 2. That is Blake Corum out of Michigan, a junior, 5'8", 200 pounds? Pretty good size for running back.
It's like 207, 210.
Yeah, 208, 210, whatever he is. He's a bowling ball, John. He's extremely hard to tackle. He's been compared to Maurice Jones-Drew in that the way his body type is, and he's so low to the ground, very hard to tackle, very elusive, can catch passes as well. I like this guy a lot. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. I worry a little bit about his injury, that meniscus tear, but that's going to be something that, we have to worry about for another 6 months to a year. Coming off injury like that, also being a little bit on the young side and throwing him into the NFL, it's going to take him a season or 2 to get started, I think. But he is a bowling ball. That's a good way to describe him. Have you seen those weightlifting videos of him?
I have not.
The guy is insane. Go watch his videos. He's just insane.
I will do that.
Strong-ass kid.
So, as an Ohio State fan, I am not actually allowed to talk about him because he's from Michigan. So, but if I were to talk about him, and I'm not saying I am, if that guy was playing for Michigan, Michigan would have been competing for the title. They really missed him when he got injured, and he is a freaking beast. Hard to tackle, very deceptively fast. When he gets in the open field, he's just gone and can catch passes, like you said. Like, he had 1,400 yards this last season and got injured in the last couple of games. Like, the guy's a beast. It's a beast. He's the Buckeye killer, as far as I'm concerned. I hate him.
Yeah, that's a good breakdown. He's a beast. That is. We know you do, John. All right.
Unless he plays for the Bears or the Bengals next year, and then I won't hate him anymore.
Yeah, but what if this next guy plays for your Bears or Bengals next year? How much would you love me if Bijan Robinson is your running back next year, John?
Dear sweet baby Jesus, please make that happen. What he said.
So Bijan Robinson is my favorite prospect that I've seen come out of college football at the running back position probably since Barry Sanders.
Since Brees Hall last year.
No, I liked Brees Hall, but I like this guy more.
I know. Yeah.
More.
Did you say since Barry Sanders?
I did.
That
And the
dude
reason
came
why
out of your mouth?
that's the reason why I said it is because he is kind of elusive like Barry Sanders. And he's big. He breaks tackles. He's fast. He can shoot. He can do it all. He can catch passes. He was Texas's lead back. Okay. And he set the college football record for most broken tackles in one season since they've kept that statistic.
Sweet Lord.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wherever he lands, I don't care the situation. He's going to be the lead back. He's going to be the 3-down back, and he's going to be a fucking beast.
If you watch videos of him in I've been watching him since high school, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
His junior year, they were showing videos of him, and I'm like, wait, is this a college player? Like he looked like he was ready to be starting in like the Big Ten
As a junior in high school?
when he was 7.
Yeah, when he was 7.
Insane.
I'm so excited about this guy. And again, I try not to let myself get too emotionally involved in running backs because they can get injured and because the league has devalued them so much. But yet there's really no more valuable position on the football team other than the quarterback. And I think he's going to be special. Like special.
Can't say it any better than that. He's going to be special. Some lucky team is going to have a 6-7 year dominant force at the running back position.
Yeah.
And
some lucky team is going to draft him in the first round, get him so that they can pick up a 5th-year option, pay him way too much money in the 6th year, and then, hopefully he doesn't get injured after that because he will have earned a monster contract by his 6th year. So,
and just for you guys playing Dynasty out there, if you have the first pick overall, don't move, don't budge. You're taking Bijan.
Keep it, and keep Bijan.
You don't have the number 1 pick. Go try to trade for that pick because you want Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
And nobody else.
Yeah. Don't make this mistake of calling him by Jan, though, because that's a different person to look up and you're going to get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Did you do that, John?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Moving on to our final segment. This is a fun one. We're going to do a few of these throughout, over the next few months. Our fantasy breakout candidates. I don't even care what position you want to go to. We're just going to throw out guys that we think are about to break out. And so that means, we're talking young guys that haven't done it yet, but are about to. This is fun to talk about, Tony. I'm going to start with you, Tony. You tell me who your favorite breakout player is this year in fantasy football.
This is my favorite, and he's not young and he's had some injuries, but he's never gotten that, full season.
I'm completely intrigued right now.
I feel that Kadarius Toney is going to destroy the season. What?
I had him on my list. That's an excellent call.
No way. Really?
Tell me why.
I think we saw flashes at the end of the season. Juju's gone. There's more changes. McColl's gone. You didn't hear a thing. Why would you not just already – I don't know the contractual stuff they have with Kadarius Toney, but it's like they held on to him. They know something. We saw something, and that guy has natural talent. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. He stays healthy, he's going to be, I think, a top 5 wide receiver. Literally.
He's definitely capable of that. That's
For
a bold call, though.
Yeah.
It is bold.
Yeah, because he's super talented, but it's hard to show that talent when you're sitting on the bench because you're injured again.
Yeah.
So here's the thing I like about Toney that you didn't mention, but I want to mention. So when he came to the Chiefs mid-season, he was coming off injuries. They kind of eased him in. He didn't know the playbook, so he only played as a bit player. Like he only played a few
What'd you call
snaps.
him?
Yeah, bit player, John. Bit. Anyway.
He only played as a bit? What?
So he was very productive when he was on the field, but he wasn't on the field a lot. But like you said, those receivers are gone now. When Cole Hardman and, Juju's gone. So now he's kind of stepping into the wide receiver 1 role. He's going to have a full mini camp, and regular training camp to learn the playbook, he's going to be out there for 90% of the plays. What is he going to do with that much run? That's what I want to see. I'm excited. All right, John, give me your favorite fantasy breakout.
I have a few of these, but I think I'm going to go with Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields.
Well, damn it. I'm not going to have anyone left to talk about, John.
That's mine.
Listen to me. Jalen Hurts. Just put that whole, what happened with Jalen Hurts, put it exact. He was a good running back who played quarterback and then last year became a quarterback. Justin Fields is about to do the same thing, y'all. Like, if you don't draft him, you're stupid. His running, he's already showed you his running ability. He's getting more weapons. They're going to shore up the line through free agency and through the draft. They got a shit ton of picks.
And money.
They got, what's his name from Carolina? A number
DJ
one
Moore.
wide receiver? DJ Moore. He came over to be with the guy they already had. I'm so excited about the weapons this guy has. His arm is a cannon, and we haven't got to see it yet. It's a third year. He's going to be seeing the offense better, seeing the field better. This is the year. Justin Fields, top 5 quarterback.
He finished as quarterback 12 last year, and he played 15 games, so he missed 2 games. Also didn't have a lot of weapons. Mooney was kind of banged up. Cole Kmet was banged up for part of the year. He didn't have DJ Moore. The offensive line was crap.
Montgomery was banged up a couple
Montgomery
of
was hurt.
games. Yeah.
And he still finished 12th. So let's just imagine you add some weaponry, beef up the line. Who knows? They maybe even draft a wide receiver, you know?
I like it.
We don't know. We'll see.
We don't
but
know.
all he needs to really do, like last year he had 1,100 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns on the ground. That's like a running back. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
And then let's just say he gets 20 to 25 touchdown passes this year instead of 16 or 17, whatever he had last year. Now you're talking about a top 5 quarterback. And what if he has 30 touchdown passes and 8 rushing touchdowns?
What if Claypool comes back to looking like he did his rookie year? Claypool's on this team still. Like, he's got 3 legitimate wide receivers if they can stay healthy and produce. He's got a tight end, Cole Kmet, like you mentioned. Like this guy's got the weapons now. They can just put a line that can give him time to actually look at his weapons. So he's not sprinting out of there every 10 seconds. So,
all right,
very exciting.
Yeah, who's the other tight end they got? They've got another tight end too. They have 2 good
Johnny
tight ends,
Smith.
No, Johnny went down someplace
forget.
else. Atlanta, I think.
Yeah,
which was
that's
weird.
right. Atlanta, You're right. Yeah, but they did sign another tight end. I was like, why? They have Cole Kmet. I forget.
Yeah, they did sign somebody good. You're right.
Yeah, I'll find out in just a minute. But let me go on to my list. I had to cross out those 2 guys because you guys are thinking exactly like me. My favorite breakout candidate this year is Garrett Wilson. Last season with 4 different crappy quarterbacks throwing him the ball, he still caught 83 balls for 1,100 yards and 4 touchdowns in his rookie year in a crap offense. I mean, let's just be honest. Those quarterbacks, none of them are any good, okay?
No.
And now they're going to get, we think, Aaron Rodgers to throw him the ball, and it's going to be his second year. What do we think's going to happen, guys? Uptick. I think Garrett Wilson is capable of a top 3 wide receiver finish, and I'm not even joking.
So, and by the way, Mecole Hardman will keep people. They can't really double Garrett Wilson because you can't leave Mecole Hardman by himself. So it's only going to help Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good call.
All right.
Was that 2 Ohio State people right in a row? Was that what I heard? I heard 2 Ohio State people right in a row.
So do you want to do a third in a row, John?
I don't have another Ohio State person I'd like to talk about.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. Who's your next guy?
I have a couple I could talk about, but I'm going to go with a wide receiver. He plays opposite of one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best wide receiver in the league. KJ Osborne is about to become real. Thielen's gone, so he's taken away with that guy. I really like me some KJ Osborne coming into the season.
Okay.
Nice.
I like that. Tony, what do you think about that?
I like it. Hell yeah. The guy looks good, man.
Yeah, he had a couple nice games at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
And they're showing him
Absolutely.
their trust in him by letting Thielen walk and not really replacing him.
Exactly.
It's the KJ Osborne show, right?
Yeah. Because they're going to double the shit out of our boy over on the other side. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, this is the year for KJ. If you don't do it this year, you're not going to do it in the NFL. So
KJ or JJ, pick your poison.
exactly.
All right, Tony, who you got?
Let's go with this guy. He definitely peeled off the diapers this year. This guy had the worst half of a football game, I think, in history.
He's on my list.
With
He's
not
on my
benched,
list too.
was not full, comes back the second half with a perfect mental game. Perfect. Calm, mature, and put together a win. And that's Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence.
he was my second quarterback.
That game really pushed over the edge because he has the mentality now. We know he has the talent. Now he's zen on the field and is making good decisions. And if he made bad decisions, he corrected them later. He was able to stay calm, get it together, and win. So Trevor Lawrence, I'm looking forward to that season.
That's funny. I was thinking of putting him on my list as well, and I thought one of these fools is going to pick him, so I'm not going to put him on my list.
Actually, two of these fools picked him because he was on my list. So, yeah.
All right. I got a guy from Alabama.
You got a guy.
I got a guy. Jamison Williams. I know he only caught one ball,
he's
40
on.
yards for a touchdown. Okay.
It's a good ball. I mean, if that's your one ball, it was a good ball.
But, I mean, let's face it, he missed most of the year because he was coming off an ACL injury. So now it's been more than a year and a half. Once the season starts, that he'll be fully recovered from that injury. He's got elite speed. He was the number one ranked wide receiver prospect going into the draft last year. He's in an elite offense now in Detroit. DJ Chark is gone. He will be the wide receiver 2 opposite of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he's the guy that's going to take the top off the ball, right? He's gonna go deep. I think he's going to be a monster top 10 wide receiver this year. And you don't even have to draft him until later in the draft.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yep.
Totally agree. I got somebody with a full year removed from a surgery, full year by himself as the starter bell cow in this offense. Travis Etienne will be in the top 5 running backs at the end of the season. Like, that guy showed me enough that I was like, he's special. He's going to be really good. Yeah.
Also, by the end of the year, when they got rid of James Robinson, shipped him out,
you
noticed him start to become the bell cow, which we didn't think he was going to be.
Right. We were still worried about Jermichael Hasty there. We were still worried about some of that. But no, he's the guy.
And Tony, can we throw him the freaking ball? That's what he's good at.
Please, dear God.
I know.
You know, he didn't catch more than 2 balls in any game last year. What is that?
I know that because I had him on 3 fantasy teams. I know that, Chuck.
I don't understand that. It's like an alarm goes off when ETN catches a second ball. Like, the alarm goes off and you're like, oh, no, that's it.
No more.
Trevor, don't throw him another fucking ball. Or you're
Good job, Trav, on your 2. Good job.
All right, Tony, who you got?
I got one guy, I don't think he's going to put up power numbers, break records. I'm not even going to put him in the top 10, but I think he's going to have a great season. He's going to be by himself. He's got a lot of talent, and that's Nico Collins. I like him a lot. I mean, I don't know how many balls he's going to get, but he's going to remind me of sort of like when Brandon Cooks was where Johnny's thing about always getting that number 1 wide receiver. I think he could be a tremendous help to your fantasy team. I'm like I said, I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver, but I think he's going to have a nice breakout season.
Yeah, you don't have to be a top 10 wide receiver to have a tremendous value, guys. You can pick a guy like Nico Collins who could be like a wide receiver 3 on your team or whatnot, but you're drafting him maybe in the last round or picking him up off the scrap heap. You know, those are the kind of guys that can win you leagues.
Yep, completely.
All right.
Give us one Reaper.
I wanted to just mention that Minchie might be coming back for the Texans, so that could kind of spell disaster for Nico Collins as being the number 1 wide receiver. Don't forget about John Mechie. He had lymphoma. And I think he's going to play this year.
Oh, that's a really good point.
But I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, we haven't seen him play a down in the NFL, so he might not pan out.
Yeah.
I went with Rashad White in Week 10 when Leonard Fournette was out due to injury. White gained 105 yards on 22 carries. In the following week, with Fournette out, he caught 9 balls for 45 yards. Guess who's no longer on the Bucks, Johnny? Leonard Fatbutt.
Leonard Donut.
Leonard Donut. I like that. So White is poised to possibly be the workhorse back in an offense that needs him to be a workhorse back.
Yeah,
he also
it's a great point.
He can catch 90 to 100 balls. He's that type of receiver. He's got some of the best hands in the NFL, bar none. He could be a wide receiver. So, I mean, I kind of see him as like maybe a work done type guy. Remember work done?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a guy that can like
also for the Buccaneers
get 250 carries, catch 90 to 100 balls, be really valuable in fantasy football.
I like it. Priest Holmes-ish.
Not quite that good, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got one more.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver, because they don't have anybody else, and because I think he's going to have a connection with it, the new quarterback, Mr. Christian Watson for the Green Bay Packers.
So you're not worried about Jordan Love taking over in Green Bay at all. You like Jordan Love.
I don't love him. I like him. I think he's going to put up fantasy numbers, and I think he showed a little bit more when he did play last year than what any of us thought he was going to show. And it feels a little bit like what they did with Rodgers when they brought him along. He had to sit for 3 or 4 years, and they brought him along, and guess what? He became one of the greatest quarterbacks who's ever played the game. I don't know if Jordan Love's got that kind of talent, but Jordan Love's better than what I think we thought he was going to be the first couple of years. So,
okay.
I did.
Tony, you got anyone else you want to talk about?
Actually, I don't really have anybody else right now.
Okay, I'll do the last one then. I got one more. So, I know you're going to laugh at me because he wasn't great last year, but he was a rookie, and that's Drake London in Atlanta.
I almost put him on mine, actually.
Yeah. So
Drake
Drake London surprisingly had a 29% target share in the Falcons' offense last year, which was 6th in the entire NFL, folks. He was on par with Chase, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and the Cheetah as far as target share in his offense. Now, we all know the Falcons like to run the shit out of the ball. They didn't throw a lot. I think part of that was Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota doesn't throw deep, or he doesn't throw it intermediately in the intermediate area.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere. Yeah. So I think this year, whether it's Ritter or they go out, make a trade for Lamar or draft another, whatever they do, it will be a guy that can throw the ball better than Marcus Mariota. And so I think Drake London is the kind of guy that can catch 100 balls and probably 1,000 yards, throw in 5-6 touchdowns, and you have at least a wide receiver 2. So I really think he can break out.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. I have a couple of quick honorable mentions. I think Sky Moore, for the same reasons you think Kadarius Toney, there's just not that many people left. I think Sky Moore, he's got some physical skills that I don't even know that Kadarius Toney has, if they could put that together. And then I love Cook out of Buffalo. I think he's going to have a really great year. I think he's going to be a breakout candidate.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, by the way, we were talking about the Bears. Who was their second tight end that they got? It's Robert Tonyan.
Oh, yeah, Tonyan.
Tonyan. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The
so there you go. We don't leave you guys hanging, folks.
It helps.
No, we tell you we're going to get you answers. We get you answers.
We get you them damn answers.
Yeah.
So, in appreciation, just hit that like button, subscribe, comment, do whatever you got to share the video. Get us on that YouTube algorithm. Go watch us on Rumble. Just make our videos more seen out there, folks. That's all we ask. We appreciate you watching. Yeah. And I want to thank my 2 main guys. First, Johnny freaking Ballgame.
Reap, good show as always, brother. You do a fantastic job.
Thank you, Johnny. You did a tremendous job. Way to break down those running backs, by the way. That was a good job. Tony, thank you so much. Mr. Sir Poopsala.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate
now,
it.
if you could Tony, go back and fix my IBM from 1983, that would be fantastic.
I just want to say also, Tony, appreciate you, man. We know you haven't been feeling 100%.
Yeah, Bubba, thank you.
You're a trooper, dude. We appreciate you, man. I'm the Fantasy Reaper. Thank you for watching Fantasy Sports Island. We do this every week. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Hey, Rolls Royce, get on the show sometime. Just throwing it out there.
Fat chance, Johnny.